Obviously, we saw this morning that Scott Carson has signed a new one-year contract. Obviously, he doesn't really play, but could you tell us how important he is sort of behind the scenes in the squad? What kind of role does he play?
With Chicky, we spoke this morning, and he will retire us. With 37 years old, I think, so 36, he will retire. So, yeah, more than welcome. He deserves it. He's an important figure for us.
There's like Edison and Ortega, if they learn anything from him?
We learn from everyone. So, he's a guy, when he talks, everybody listen. He help us to make a quality training sessions, especially the day after the game. He teach and help with his experience for the young lads, and unit in the team figures an important person. So we could have an incredible three keeper, a young one, or but the third keeper has to be, if you need him for, hopefully cannot happen for different circumstances, we have him, and especially in the locker room with the staff, backroom staff.
Bernardo.
You cannot imagine how important Stefan. We are very pleased.
Tiki to Bernardo and Gundo told him, hold any talks until the important matters were at hand. Peps, he jokes, but who better to give the introductory speech at Pep's farewell event? Not many people pivot better than our bald leader, but who knew he was secretly a Celtics fan?
Define the football players and the athletes in the bad moments, how you react, how... Celtic, the Boston Celtics, 3 down against Miami, 3-2. Now they show who they are. That is the point.
I mean, they did show who they are. Unfortunately, it's bad. We were going to record yesterday, so I thought this was going to be a good omen. And they could be like, yeah, Celtics are going to win because Pep showed them some love. That is not how it happened. It went all bad real fast.
Although I think he'd take Marcus Smart as an 8, box-to-box 8, definitely.
Yeah. No, he's high energy, distributes the ball. We got too many wannabe chefs, but it ain't really chefs in that kitchen. So we got to figure out some people who need to know their roles. So that's interesting.
Sit down! Nobody talk! Sit down!
Make histories in front in our faces. And you have to try to take it, guys. When we play we play when the other is bad, shake hands. But you are not bad enough. If you became a top team, you have to score the goals, guys. You are sad? There are many sads. But you have to learn to play football with courage. Our best thing in our season is because it doesn't matter where we were, we play with a character, with courage to play.
We are tired! You! We are tired! You!
Hey, and welcome to episode 60 of Shades of Blue. We are the United States' most comprehensive city podcast, covering all 4 time zones, from the Mississippi River to the Rocky Mountains. Is that what we're going to say now? Is that what we're doing? Cool. I like that.
If you're going to say that, you can't say all 4 time zones, can you?
I know. So covering 3. So, man, we got to flip what we're saying now. I got to think about this. Got to ponder.
Well, no, it'll be Atlantic to the Rocky Mountains. It's just this week, it's just Mississippi to the Rockies.
We just
next week, we'll be able to touch the other
ocean.
Just
aren't all 4 time zones anymore, though, right? So that we got to adjust. All right. Well, Shady Gang, if you have
the Shady Gang is represented on the West Coast, though.
As someone who embraces wrestling, and you got to change up your spills, your sticks, So, hey, I welcome it. This is a nice challenge. I got a whole week anyway. There's no other episode this week, so that'll be fun. First things first, rate and review the podcast. 5 stars are what's the point. Follow the pod on social media, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, and our Instagram are all at Shades of Blue US, where you can watch live on Twitch. What up, Twitch? Subscribe to your YouTube channel by searching Shades of Blue. Check out all Shades of Blue merch. All those things, it's in our show notes. Speaking of it, shout outs to goals.tv, our new familia. I believe our latest episode will be uploaded there, and we'll have some fun content there. But Goals TV, what is it? Thank YouTube, but only footy content. It is a website made for the lovers of the beautiful sport. Shades Blue, we're now part of that familia. The website is free to use at this moment, Shady Gang. So go and register a new account. When you register, use the promo code Shady Gang, and that helps us out, letting Goals TV know they made the right decision when they asked us something. In today's episode, we'll start the show off with our Baby Blue Baddies, our Man City Women segment, hosted by our fantastic, our debonair, our suave, our fantastic shirt wearing at the moment, Tom Baum. I'm in a great mood, so obviously I'm just full of the positive affirmations. I'm just here for it today. After that, we got, a match we played that ended the season. So that happened. And then we have a match at the end of, at the end of this week coming up. Pretty big match. I don't know if you guys know. We're playing a team we don't like very much. Our opinionated neighbors, United and FA Cup for a trophy and to lift another one on our way to a treble. Hopefully. But first. Tom Bomb, what are those Baby Blue Baddies doing to him?
Well, so it was the last match of the season. We played Everton.
With the very slim hope that if Arsenal lost and we scored 11 goals, we would get that third place spot. That means that we would be in Europe. So to make that opportunity happen, we put out a lineup of Keating in goal since Roebuck had her red card and she had to serve that red card suspension. Esme Morgan, the captain Steph Houghton, Alex Greenwood, Layla Wahabi on the back line. Midfield of Yui Hasegawa, Felipa Engeldahl, Dana Castellanos started over Laura Coons, which was great. And then our dynamic front three, Chloe Kelly, Lauren Hemp, and Bunny Shaw. This match started off like a snoozer. It was very difficult to watch. However, like looking at other scores in the WSL, as this was Decision Saturday for the WSL, looking back on those scores, there wasn't a whole lot of first half action in any of the matches. There was, however, some action in the the Aston Villa Arsenal match, which unfortunately Aston Villa was winning at that point. So first half ends, just team looks really sloppy, disinterested. Yui and Bunny look like they're the only players that kind of want to be there. Nothing else really happened. We did concede a corner where, Everton did try an Olympico, but it looked like Keating had it covered and it hit the top of the bar anyway. So we come out second half, really kind of pressing the action, but we are still giving chances away on the other end. We did give a chance away, but Keating came up with a great save with a shot right at her, tipped it over the bar because she wasn't able to get a good read on it right away. Tipped it over the bar, kept it 0-0. Literally 2 minutes after that, we had a break, and it was Chloe Kelly up the right-hand side, She got it across the field to Lauren Hemp coming up the other side, runs almost to the byline, cuts it back about to the penalty spot where Bunny Shaw is just right there, and she's not going to miss from there, especially with that particular motion. So that puts us up 1-0. Then we responded well. It looks like we wanted more goals after that happened. So then in the 60th minute, it looks like actually in the 55th minute, I believe that they had switched, Kelly and Hemp had switched sides. So Hemp was out on the right side. Yui got a great diagonal ball out to her, and she danced on the defender's face for a little bit, and then took it to the top, to the corner of the box, and just put an arrow into the net. It was a beautiful, beautiful shot. That put us up 2-0, and you could kind of feel that we were hungry for the match. At this point, I was a little bit excited because Arsenal was down 2 at that point, so that lessened our the goal difference that we had to get. So it was like, yeah, we just got to score 10 goals. Let's score 10 goals. And we looked in the mood for it because 9 minutes later, in the 69th minute, Bunny got her brace off of a great assist from Hemp, but so much of that work was just Bunny in the box saying, "No, get off me. You're not strong enough for me. No, I'm creating space for myself." And she put it in the back of the net. Puts us at 3-0. So at this point, I'm feeling really good about how things will look. I'm not sure if we're about to make any subs. I don't think that we really needed to make any subs at this point. In about the 79th minute, however, we did sub on Coombs for Morgan, and we went to a back 3 at that point, and Layla Wahhabi got exposed again. And looks like Lucy Graham was able to slide it home after Sorensen was able to escape Wahhabi and get the cross in. So it was down 3-1 or up 3-1. You're thinking, okay, like just got to get another goal back. Then in the 84th minute, we made a triple sub. Kirsten Kasparai, Jemima DeHue, and Haley Rasso all came on. We will get to the last sub here in a moment. For Layla Wahhabi, Dana Castellanos, and Lauren Hemp. I don't know what it was at that point, but like the vibes of the team just seemed off. Like Bunny had a couple of chances, but she also had so she was sitting on a hat trick. So I understand that she wanted to get the golden boot, and even though Rachel Daly scored, if she would have gotten a hat trick, she would have, I think, tied for the league lead, which would have been a record in the WSL. She had a breakaway. She had some defenders converging on her, and Chloe Kelly was all alone in the box. She didn't pass to Chloe Kelly, took the shot. It wasn't a good shot. She was able to get around the keeper once, another additional time. Wasn't able to slide it home at that point. Then right at the beginning of stoppage time, I should say, actually it was the end because it was pretty much the last thing that happened. Once again, Layla Wahhabi got caught out, and you could tell that the captain was tired because she didn't really make that recovery run the way that she would have normally, and Leonie Mayer was able to slide it past Kiera Keating, and that made it 3-2, which is actually what I predicted for the last episode, but just not for the FanFest. So that put us at 47 points, also put Arsenal at 47 points because they lost to Aston Villa, but our goal difference was 8 behind. So that means that we do not get that third UWCL spot, which is pretty heartbreaking. I did want to talk about the last sub. The last sub was Haley Rasso. Almost immediately after the match, it was announced that Haley Rasso was leaving the club, and I don't even think that it was 30 minutes after that, Real Madrid announced that they were signing her. So it appears that she is leaving. So our Aussie contingent moves from 3 to 2. We do wish Haley the best at Real Madrid. Say hi to Caroline Weir.
Yeah, no, that the how quickly the announcement was, like it was insane, and then I feel like a little rude, maybe on purpose. I don't know. It was just, but because it was just like let Haley do that. I don't know. We're just like Real. We're just trying to like make them all about them or something. I don't know.
So, again, going to encourage everybody to watch the Matildas on Disney Plus. One of the things that she stated about was very important for the development that Haley Rasso stated was for the development of the Australian national team was that Mary Fowler come from Montpellier in France to Manchester City, where she has the opportunity to play Champions League football. I think that playing Champions League football is something that is very important to Haley. And she's only been able to participate in like 4 matches, I should say, and 2 of those we got knocked out by Real Madrid both times. So I think it's very important for her to be able to play Champions League football. I know that she started in Australia, so like obviously they don't have a UEFA team there, and she came over to the States and played for the Portland Thorns for quite some time before she did go to Everton and then came to Manchester City. So I do believe that is something that is very important to her, and that's probably why she went to Real Madrid.
Yeah,
so,
I can't hate that.
I think that's something that we need to make sure, like with the. Now, I guess it's now 2 players that are out of contract, Philippa Angeldal and Demi Stokes. We do kind of need to understand that they particularly with players that are not from the UK, there is going to be a desire to play Champions League football. And if we are not offering that, I guess my thought is don't be surprised to hear that Philippa Angeldal goes to Italy, or don't be surprised that Philippa Angeldal goes to Germany, just because she also wants to play Champions League football. I think to me, of the 2, Philippa Angeldal is probably the most important, as she's played the most minutes of the 2 of those players, and she plays a position that we need more, and Demi Stokes has not demonstrated the positional flexibility that we want for our fullbacks. I do want to end this segment on a good note, I promise. Well, I guess this is not necessarily ending it, but I do want to say some big news. Bunny Shaw extended her contract to 2026. Yes. That was big, huge news to hear. I think that we talked about it, and then when Niels Nielsen was interviewed, or I guess he did the little piece with the gentleman with the club, and he said that player retention was going to be very important, and that was like one of the most important things. And so it looks like, based off of re-signing Alana Kennedy, extending Bunny Shaw. That is something that is very important to him. I do hope that he is able to convince Philippa Angeldal to stay and sign another contract. I think that she has been fantastic for us. She has really solidified a spot in the midfield that we needed to, since our entire midfield from last year left, and it would be very nice to be able to have that continuity going into next season. As far as club awards, looks like I love this stat. So there's 3 awards. There's Player of the Season, Goal of the Season, Rising Star of the Season. There are like 3, 4 players on this club that could identify as Black women. Black women win all of these awards, and that makes me very, very, very happy. So as far as Player of the Year, it was pretty much a no-brainer. That was Bunny Shaw. You set the club record for goals scored in a season in all competitions, and you got to be Player of the Season. Just point blank period. Like there's nobody in Europe that is doing it like her. Like, she had the best season in Europe, and that's why this contract extension that was announced today was so huge. She also was she won goal of the season for her goal on the looping header against Arsenal in the reverse fixture at their place when we went up 1-0 at their place 5 minutes in. It was a very, very beautiful looping header goal. And then as the rising star was given to Kiara Keating because she stepped up when the club needed her, particularly in the last month of the season. Like, we needed her. Like, McKeever was hurt. Roebuck has been in and out, and then Roebuck got suspended. So she came up big for the club when we needed her, and she's had a history of doing that since she's literally been 16 years old.
Tom, we love Bunny. She's beautiful. Black women are everything. Would you say that header was better than Engeldahl's goal against Chelsea?
I don't know, because Engeldahl has scored some absolute bangers. Like, even her goal in the derby was great. Like, if you're gonna put me on the spot, I'm gonna go with that derby goal for Felipe Engeldahl, because just because I thought it was going to be at least a point, and when we needed a point, and heck, if we knew now that we needed that point, like, we would have been in Champions League, and we might not be talking about Haley Rasso moving. So I don't know, but yeah, I'm gonna go with her goal in the derby for goal of the season for me, because that was just wow.
Yeah, she's a beast. And last thing I have on this is two thoughts. First, Lauren Hemp's contract expires next summer, so it's going to be very interesting to see if she wants to stay on longer without the promise of Champions League football, or if it's kind of like where her being in control, like Gareth Taylor is, right? Well, he's not in control, like a 1-year deal. If we get Champions League, I'll stay. If we don't, I'm out. And I really hope that that front three grows together, because as we've seen, like in all football, right? Like a front three that is in tune is very dangerous. And I think they could still progress. And this was Bunny's first full season, as the starting striker with those two on the wings, and Kelly, she's back in shape and form now. So I hope that next year, like, everybody gets double-digit goals. Very much in the way Arsenal men, right, where they have Martinelli, Saka, and I guess Odegaard in mid, but you never know where it's coming from.
Right.
I think sometimes Bunny was too easy to stop, and because we weren't clinical on the wings or didn't get enough support from midfield, it slowed us down. Because I just see 50 points as the standard for next year. Like, we have to get 50 points. So you can't start off the season, with 2 straight losses. Like that's
and
it kills you. So
I will be interested, because I know that so much of those 2 losses, like even the loss to Real Madrid, was the fact that the UK players weren't back from winning the Euros. So you didn't have Chloe Kelly, you didn't have Lauren Hemp, you didn't have Ellie Roebuck. So you're missing a significant part of your team. It will be really interesting to see how the season starts next season, seeing as how so many of these players are going to be in the World Cup in the end of July and August. You wonder if, hopefully the season will start later in the year, like in September. And what happens if, England wins the World Cup? You have a similar situation. Or what happens if, the host nation, Australia, wins, and, you have Mary Fowler and Alana Kennedy out. Or even Spain, you have Laya Alexandri. She might be called into their squad, even though she's not fit now, but I believe she'll be fit for the World Cup. So it's just really, I'll be really interested to see how we handle this as a club. Just keep making sure that Niels Nielsen is establishing those strong connections with his national team, federations, and our players are being taken care of the way that they need.
So what I will say is, when I did the Represent episode with Rob Prattley, who writes for Chelsea Women, he said what he is hearing about Niels is he's the real deal. Like, if he gets in a room with a footballer and it comes time to like talk them into buying into something, he's going to be able to do it. So I think he might be able to hold on to a player or two, or bring in a player and maybe giving us that push to secure that third spot next year. And I'm hoping, because I guess you don't bring him in with the announcement and with all of the like trumpets and the interview and all that stuff if you aren't trying to say to the footballing world, hey, we're here now. So I'm hoping to see something this summer, because I mean, yes, this buddy, I was in a Represent interview with Brighton when that came, and at the end, so I'm like just staring at my phone, reading it, and he was just like, is there a problem? And I'm like, sorry, no, buddy just resigned. This is like great news. I'm sorry, we're talking about Brighton. But it was a fantastic start to my day. It truly was great.
Yeah, it was really good. And as far as like, I agree. You don't bring in Niels Nielsen to not make moves. I do expect moves to be made. I know that there's already some rumors out that we are interested in Hannah Hampton from Aston Villa. I believe she had been their top keeper before Maloney took over. I think Hannah Hampton she had taken a leave of absence from the club. I think that she had been going through a variety of issues, and I just hope that she is getting better. I know that we've also been linked to a young striker in Eva Navarro who played at Atletico, so she would know both Laia Alexandri and Dana Castellanos, and she plays striker, so that would be nice to have like an actual second striker. And somebody that is 22. And it looks like that's... I also saw that both Bayern and Lyon have like a list of like 6 players that are out of contract this summer. So Nielsen is going to have a difficult task ahead of him in that he's going to need to watch game film and make moves like during the World Cup, but also make moves based off of, who's playing well at the World Cup? Like, is this a player that's out of contract? Is this someone that we can sign? So his job is going to be very, very difficult this summer. He's going to need a lot of eyeballs on a lot of screens. And I don't necessarily envy him for that. But hopefully we can make some pretty good moves this incoming window.
One more thing before we move on. Niels said that, yes, I want to get fantastic players, but I want to make sure I get the right player that fits the vibe, the vibes. He wanted it, but then he also said, I don't want to get all of the same people though. So that was a very intriguing thing that he said. So I was like, is he going to try to bring in a little chaos? That'd be interesting.
I will say this. I think that if Gareth Taylor is sacked, it will be early in the season, just so that way Niels Nielsen can bring in the manager that he wants. But I would expect that if they're not going to retain his services, we'll know by the turn of 2024 whether or not Gareth Taylor will remain as Man City football coach.
Get him out of here.
He gotta go.
Get him out of here. Well, let's, if we'd like to do the top four prediction for the league next season.
So my top four is it depends a lot on what happens at United this summer. I don't think Russo stays. I don't think Toon stays. I think Skinner's a good coach. This is a good league for him. He wasn't fit to coach American players really, or in the American system, which is why he didn't work out in the NWSL. But I think Chelsea's just too good. Like the additions that Chelsea is making, even with Pernilla Harder and Magda Eriksson leaving, Chelsea's too good. If Katarina Rocario is coming, they've already announced Ashley Lawrence. Doesn't mean, again, I know I've said this before, but I will rephrase this. Ashley Lawrence is so cold. She wears the 10 for her country, and she plays outside back. That's how cold Ashley Lawrence is. She's that good. And then she's going to feed Lauren James? Good Lord. They're going to win. They're going to win a lot. I think, but I also think that they are such in the mindset that they need to win Champions League, and so they might put the cup competitions on the burner, and they might start some of their academy kids or play some of their backups. But I think that this season is going to be the season that they truly go for Champions League. But I still see them being as number one. I have Arsenal at number two because their whole ACL club is going to get healthy again, and which makes this season even more disappointing because you knew that Arsenal was down. So this was the opportunity to not just get the third spot, get the second spot, and make sure that you didn't have to worry about playing that play-in game and go straight to the groups. And then I got us getting that third spot. And then I have Aston Villa at 4. They've just consistently performed. They beat us all 3 times that they played us. They beat Arsenal on the last day, even though Arsenal really did need the points. I like what they're building over there. They have a good, solid core. I think that the plan is that and Rachel Daly had a hell of a season. I mean, she did set the record for goals scored in WSL play. I just think she's. I know she's getting older, but I think Alicia Lehman is their backup plan for their succession plan for her, and I think she's shown good signs. So yeah, it's those are my top 4. You good?
I was like, oh, he's frozen. And I am on mute. Sorry, just checking. That's right.
Can y'all hear me?
Well, I was going to wait. I'm going to be the crazy person. I'm doing it. Who cares about logic? I'm going to be the person who just blind believes this. It's not crazy enough to say we're going to be ahead of Chelsea. Chelsea's very much going to be first. But ACLs, that's like a whole 12-month recovery. There's 6 to 8 months before you become 100%. I think, the other players on Arsenal, I'd assume a bunch of them probably are going to be in the World Cup. I don't know. I just feel like they have more to bounce back from than City. We have a lot to prove, and I think if they can make the right moves, we can get second. who cares about the Champions League? And again, I don't think this is going to be Gareth. I think like the Bunny interview that was going around, she was saying that she was looking at her weaknesses and how she could grow. And Bunny didn't start playing until she was like 13. We have such a young squad that they're at that age that a year difference is significant in what can happen and what can do. A World Cup can really help confidence. Like if our English ladies come back from a World Cup victory, I mean, hopefully it's not a lag, but I mean, hopefully they just end up in that middle ground. You know, they make it to the decent, maybe knock out one team and then get out of there so they can rest and get back. That's just me being selfish. Obviously, I'd like them to win all the trophies, any of the teams to win the trophies. But yeah, I don't know. I just see that, and then third, Arsenal, fourth, United. I don't really know. I see it. I'm putting it into existence.
I'm going to change the question and only give a top three because fourth doesn't matter. If fourth mattered, we would be looking forward to something else next season other than Arnold Clark and Conti Cup and all that. So I'm gonna just go top three. Chelsea for Chelsea reasons. They're the women's equivalent of Man City on the men's side, and they have the same pressure with Champions League at this point. There's a really strong comp for Pep compared to Emma, right? Damn, what's Emma?
Hayes.
Oh, yes. Damn, that was embarrassing. I'm so sorry. No disrespect to Emma Hayes. She's out here. So yeah, she's got to get it done next season. Number two, I think the ACLs will all be healed, and Arsenal had a hell of a great season without 4 ACLs. So I think those 4 ACLs come back, especially 2 of the best forwards in the world, and they hold their space. But I do think we're close, and I think we get third. And I literally have no idea about the rest of the league, about who's going to get that 4th spot. That's why I couldn't do it, and they don't matter. But I think we make it to third. I don't know if that's enough to keep Gareth's job, but I hope that it's enough to boost our signings and our prestige.
Get him out of here.
It is. So you said that Ashley Lawrence is going to be joining up with Khadijah Buchanan, and they're going to be bringing in Katerina Macario, plus Lauren James.
Yeah, no, it's scary.
It's just the list just keeps going and going. Good Lord.
And we still haven't said Sam Kerr's name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Sam Kerr.
So,
just hanging out, just chilling in the front. She just out here.
As much as I would like to, you come into every season, this is going to be the season that we do it. It's hard to see anybody beating Chelsea over the course of the 22 match season. You might beat them in a one-off game because that can happen. It happens to us. But I like our chances with the men to win over the course of 38 games. I like Chelsea's chances of winning this league over the course of 22 matches. I so desperately want us to get back into those champions. So I don't know if you're going to go through the whole rundown that you had on there, but the way that I would define this past season was disappointing because we did not end up in those Champions League places. At some point, we have to get over that hump. We got put out in the playoff round a couple years in a row, and then this year we didn't even get there. So that's a little disappointing. I want to see us in third, but Arsenal, I think, will bounce back. You know what? Skip it. It's gonna be Chelsea. It's gonna be Arsenal. It's gonna be us, and then fourth will be United.
Crunk, do we get a chance to do this again after the transfer window?
Decide if you're on the You should have used your premonition to know what was going to happen, man.
So what I'll do, Charlie, is I'll make a note after the transfer window, and I'll be like, hey guys, remember when we did this at the end of May? Like, let's revisit our top 3, top 4.
Yeah, we did it with the men last year. I like that. Pre and post transfer, see if our minds change. Oh, you guys are funny. I enjoy you guys. I missed you guys.
So Tom,
Mm-hmm.
who can we go get? Because just continuing to, and again, not that our team was bad in any way, shape, or form, right? But it just needs some additional strengthening, right? Every year we should be strengthening. Who's out there? Who's available that we could realistically point to and be like, oh, we could bring this person in?
So this is the thing, like by retaining Gareth Taylor for another year, we have effectively cut ourselves off from all American players. Because after Rose Lavelle's experience at the club and then now seeing the player that she is, and you're like, why could that player not translate at the club? No American-born player, at least none that's in like the U.S. women's national team pool, is going to come over here and play.
But what about Sam Ewis? Because her experience seemed to be completely opposite of Rose Lavelle when she was here. So, I mean, I guess you're always going to, well, if she can't get time and she's one of the best players in our player pool, what's the likelihood of any, me going over there and, whatever. So maybe you look at it that way, I guess. I don't know.
Well, so, recency bias with Rassa.
Yeah. I mean, like, she was very underused. And then you even if you think about Janine Becky's experience with the club, whereas like she experienced great success under Cushing and then Taylor took over and now all of a sudden she's playing outside back. So I don't know that name that's just going to be like, yes, I'm going to come play here necessarily. But it's also like, what are you looking for? Because what we really need, to Charlie's point, is a clinical winger. Even though our wingers are great, like Chloe Kelly led the league in chances created by like 20 or something ridiculous like that. But like she's not the best finisher. Lauren Hemp is not the best like really the only finishers that we have on the team are Bunny, Dana, and Felipa Engeldahl, and Ipa's about to be at, she's out of contract right now. So I'm going to say the positions that we need to attack are attacking midfielders and wingers, with the understanding that hopefully Mary has a breakout tournament this season, and so like she didn't necessarily get to play a lot this season. She played in a lot of cup competitions, but she didn't necessarily play a lot in the league. But you hope that her having the that more experience at the World Cup, being one of the host nations, that she'll have a great tournament, and then that will carry over to next season, and that will be like almost a bonus signing. And I know that I've said this before, but the women and the men play the same. So the system, whatever system that Gareth Taylor and Pep Guardiola come up with that like looks similar, it might call for a 2-striker system, and we might see Julian Alvarez and Erling Haaland, as well as Dana Castellanos and Bunny Shaw on the field all the time together, and then we just play 3 at the back. So we don't know what that's going to look like going forward. So I would say that based off of what we have now, and the system that we're playing now, yes, it would be great to have an additional attacking midfielder and some more clinical wingers, but I can't say with certainty that that's going to be the system that we play next season.
One more question for me. How many more years do we think we can ride Steph Houghton out there?
1.
Yeah, 1.
I was going to say, at some point, we've got to...
Yeah, I would say legitimately 1. I mean, like, I know that like it was the end of the match, but the last goal kind of was on her. Like she didn't really make the recovery run. She didn't challenge the shot at all, and she kind of had Keating out to dry. So I would say one, and I would venture to say that were Alana Kennedy healthy more of the year, Steph Houghton would not have played as much as she did this season.
So it's like 1 year, like Gareth. Like it's
Yeah.
And if we're keeping it real, a few of the goals that we gave up was, just her either not clearing the ball away the right way or making the right moves with the ball,
or she got beat for pace, or there were.
But that's very, very similar. Maybe not the quote unquote individual mistakes, but when you think about let's use Fernandinho for an example. We knew he was beyond his sell by date, his best by this date, but we kept him around. He was our captain. To a certain extent, Vinny was that way when he was having his injury issues, but we kept him around. And Vinny, I think when he was able to play, he was always a really strong contributor. Fernandinho kind of tailed off towards the end, but we kept giving him the 1 year because he brought value. I feel like Steph Houghton is kind of the same for me, where, I will always have a ton of respect for her because she was, when I started paying attention to women's soccer in the professional side, Man City had their team. She was the captain. She was the first name that I knew. So she'll always have my respect. But I think to your point, she needs to see less of, the pitch in the coming years. If she wants to still be the captain, if we want to keep her around for what she brings off the pitch, great. But we cannot be in a position, in my opinion, where we're depending upon her match in, match out.
I would agree with that, and I think that's why I know some City fans are going to be disappointed when they hear this and when they see Serena's list tomorrow, but her name is not going to be on the list for Australia, New Zealand. And I think the Fernandinho comp is actually great. We were playing him last season specifically because we had so many injuries. We were playing Steph Houghton so much this season because we had so many injuries at the back. So I don't think that this was necessarily planned, but it's what you had, so that's what you worked with. I don't necessarily. I know that she's out of contract at the end of this next season. I don't necessarily think that she will be extended.
But also, before we get out of here, I feel very similar to you, Tarek, about the season. How overall, I feel kind of disappointed the way we started and the way we ended. It was just very tough, and just all you can do is just look towards the next season. But there's still this giant wall ahead of you. So also, it's like you don't want to look too far because then it just bums me out again. So it's just like, what are we even doing? I don't know. It's going to be this summer. I just really hope some things happen. Like there needs to be a reinvigoration because it's obviously not going to come from gas.
So why is that obvious though?
Have you heard him talk? Have you heard him talk?
The whole middle of the season happened. I don't care about him talking. I don't care about him talking. The product on the field was
inspiration.
What does that mean?
If players can't get fire from their own balls, you need a manager who's going to inspire that fire. And literally nothing he has ever said inspires or fires me up or makes me see
So you want to show?
No, I want someone who can eloquently explain where we messed up, where we could do better, how someone could grow instead of just saying the same thing 5 times in 2 paragraphs.
So the press conference matters more than the field, like the pitch, like because we literally went 5 months unbeaten. Like I don't.
I've
like,
already said.
You're right.
I give the credit to the girls.
But no, so I'm saying. So
I'm
like,
saying I give
and
the
he
credit to the
didn't.
women.
He didn't lose to Liverpool. Like I'm just saying. Like I still can't get with it. Like if we were to tank out and pull an Arsenal men and just lose, and drop crazy points, I'm like, oh man, this guy sucks. But like we were strong, and then we lost to Liverpool. And that's our fault. Like that's that's everybody's fault. Like not just him. Like the players didn't show up. We all saw it. They were listless. That's not his fault. Like they should have got up. Like I'm sure he did what he did the same game before. Like I'm not about to be like, hey, get him out, and then we don't know who it is. I hate that talk. That's dumb. Like, where's the replacement? Donde, Kian, who? Like where? So like, if we lose the first 3 matches, yeah, fire him right away. But like. The guy like did work, and he did like set up a team that was pretty damn good, except for like 4 matches.
We know who the lineup's gonna be. What are you talking about? He
league.
set up a lineup. We have the same players every match. We know who's gonna be in it. Like, what do you mean? Like, okay.
Because there are tactics, Crunk. Like we know this, right? Like you have to play a certain way to make the goals and to do the things on the pitch. Like,
it's just like
put the players out there and say, "Have fun."
Happy's just like, "Hey, Garrett, do this and then do this." Yeah, he's literally texting,
and that is also us having conjecture that they actually have time to talk and like let's be real. Let's call it what it really is.
Sauce for the podcast,
So,
but I still stand for it. Get him out of here.
So I don't like to single a player out because if you put that sky blue on, I'm gonna rock with you. When I look at the fixture list for this past season, we won our first game, which was a Champions League match. Alex Greenwood was the captain. We then went on to lose 3 in a row. We lost the match to Real Madrid, where Layla Wahhabi was captain. Then we lost the next 2, where Steph Houghton was the captain. To your point, Charlie, we won a big undefeated run. And then we got towards the end of the season. And again, she captained probably, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11 straight matches Steph Houghton did. In that time, we picked up 3 losses. I'm not blaming her. But in the matches that we did lose, she was playing. So I feel like we have to be able to have, and again, maybe what she brings from the captain is, and just the leadership is just as important or more important. I don't know. But I think there's I'm not going to say it's a direct one-to-one because I don't want to point fingers and make it seem as if I'm blaming her because that's not my intent. Like I said, I will always love and respect her. But I think there's a part of that you got to look at and say, maybe she's just not good enough to consistently be playing. And again, those 3 matches, and again, the 3 matches that we lost in that 11-match run, 2 of them were 2 of the last 3. So maybe she was fine, and I don't know. Again, I'm not trying to blame, just trying to figure out what we can be doing differently because we've already said Chelsea's not going to go away. And yes, we only lost a couple of those games, but when you lose to Chelsea, you lose to Aston Villa, you lose to Arsenal, you lose to Liverpool, you lose to Manchester United. Most of those are the teams above us. We have to find ways to beat those teams. Just like when you're battling for top 4 on the men's side, you got to beat those teams ahead of you. If you want to take the crown, you got to go take it. You can't. No one's going to give it to you. So we have to find ways. And again, we did go 1-1 with Arsenal.
A manager.
What?
A manager would figure that out. I said, who figures those things out? If he sees a weakness in a player, who makes the adjustments? A manager. That's who does that.
to Tom's point, maybe there's
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm still hot.
healthy. If you don't have healthy players, you can't switch them out.
Yeah, that was so much a health issue, but I think it is really interesting that you do bring her up because in so many ways she is the last connection to the squad that last won WSL. So, like, I think that is there a like based off of everything that happened last season with the mass exodus from the club, is this like, oh, like we as the club did not like honor that connection to, previous teams that have won the league or that have won trophies or, gone to Champions League, et cetera, et cetera. And like, we need to do better about that. So that's why we are holding Steph Houghton in such high esteem. Or and it's like, and if you think about it, last season she was injured for a good majority of the season. Alana Kennedy played a good majority of the season, so that's a lot of time that she's not necessarily in the training room with the other players. So like, did that help cause the rift? And was that exacerbated by personality conflicts with the manager? I'm not really sure because I'm not privy to that information. I would just hope that I don't know, like Georgia Stanway did everything but say that I left because of Gareth Taylor. But if there are other players that have a similar personality profile to Georgia that are still at the club, I would hope that Gareth has done the work to retain those types of players because he knows that they are talented.
This was great. Any last things?
No. I will just say, if you are jonesing for some women's footy, NWSL season is in full swing. As we do not just follow the FIFA calendar over here. I believe that you guys can still get that on Paramount Plus, or you can log on to NWSL.com if you are outside of the United States.
We'll keep it moving to Premier League action, the last match of the season.
Okay. How much did the final against United next week influence your team selection today?
Well, we have 4 or 5 players with niggles, not big injuries, but they are injured. They are not fit for a few days already, weeks. The guys who didn't play here and normally play, they were really exhausted yesterday, the day before. We spoke again with them and said mentally they was completely drained. So, and the guys who play today deserve it. And for me, it's important to see them because how they feel for the minutes from Nathan after injury. I may come back again for playing 90 minutes. Unfortunately, Kyle could not give him time to rest because we don't have many substitutions. But they needed to rest, and now to arrive with the right energy that is going to happen against United, and after the next game, we'll find a Champions League.
Obviously, this was post-match, but I felt the clip was needed. Could possibly explain the starting 11 we saw. Pep's starting squad was Ederson in goal, Gomez, Ake making his return, Laporte, Walker. They were the back line, middle duo, Phillips and Lewis, Foden, Palmer, Mahrez, Alvarez. They were on the pitch also. Weeks ago, we believed Brentford would be the one match that we would see the strong squad. After hearing Pep's answer, we now know he was making the best of the situation. But just taking myself back to that. In that lineup, when I saw the lineup, I was shocked. I'm pretty sure I went, wow. Tarek, what were your thoughts at that time, if you can remember, when you saw that starting lineup? And did that lineup change your thoughts on the match outcome?
It's one of those things where, again, early in the season, I told you, I don't like to pick what is Pep going to do with the lineup because I never really know, because he's always, is here and we don't have the insight that he has into how the players are doing in training and the mental space and all that kind of stuff. So, while you're right, I did think this would be the match where we went stronger, because in my mind, we want to be fit and firing come the 2 matches that are coming up. But on the flip side, if you told me that those players are just still not mentally where they need to be, they need the rest, this wouldn't have shocked me at all. It's just I just wouldn't have known because we just don't have the insight that Pep does. So it didn't surprise me. It was just like, okay, he is prioritizing the rest over the potential for players to potentially be rusty or whatever because they haven't played a bunch of minutes coming into the next 2 matches. So I was fine with it.
I think I said on the pre-match show brought to you by FanFestLive that I was wearing my training kit because this was a training session that just happened to be a FA sanctioned Premier League match, and that's how I was looking at it. It was Nathan, can you play 60 minutes and you still feel good? Great. Ederson, can you still make sure that you're in rhythm? And we can talk about Ederson later in the show. Great. Phil Foden, go run around and create some plays. And I also wasn't super pressed about the lineup because I knew that the way that we were going to play was going to be drastically different than with this lineup was going to be drastically different than how we would play in the FA Cup final and in the Champions League final. So I wasn't, it was just a training match for those 11 players.
Hold on before you go, Charlie. The one thing that when I saw the lineup, I was like, good for Calvin Phillips. Good for my guy, Calvin. So that was the only other thought that I think I had.
Right behind you, Tarek. The only thing I focused on in this lineup were the black players playing. And so Ake getting that start, back from the injury, Walker getting another start, continuing to be in great form since this recent resurgence. And then I love that double pivot of Rico and Calvin. So that made me happy. Nothing else was a shocker. I was super happy to see Gomez get a start. I think this is from listening and reading City, content and things. People are very hypocritical, and I guess that's the fan part of being a fanatic, or the fanatic part being longer than fan, because it's like, do you want players to play and learn, or do you expect people to be perfect when they first come on the pitch?
No one knows what it means.
It happens.
It's provocative.
It gets the people going, clearly, because how can Calvin Phillips get better if he's only played 100-something Premier League minutes? That's literally impossible at that position. Same for Gomez. How do you get better if you don't have the reps? And you can't get the reps because we ran a title run, and you can't drop points when you're in a title run. We know this. We do this every fucking year. So the stupidity of some of these supporters, quote unquote, is the most baffling shit ever. And it's always stronger for black players. I know that. We know that. We lived through Raheem Sterling getting all the criticism in the world. He was the only one to ever miss chances. We saw that with Gabby Jesus again. Even when he did well, it wasn't good enough. And Calvin Phillips, even though he's clearly in a developmental year off an injury and learning a new system, is not good enough. Or, he doesn't deserve to wear the shirt. What? Shut the fuck up. So, shouts out to black players doing the great things.
At the end of the Premier League, we have to be honest. They can beat us whatever you want. As much you win the Premier League, it's enough. So it's beat us for the reason. Have to learn for that. It was the people say, I remember, say, the people was thinking the World Cup, was the previous game before the World Cup. Bullshit. They beat us because they were better. They were better at all the bongs. The first 6 balls, they beat us. They won it. And we talk about that. So this type of game, one aspect is to control that. And you have to review it and you have to, and it's what it is. So, but also, we never win Spurs away.
He said it like he always does. He's honest. They just, and I said it, our size was going to get us. They love just hoofing it down and making it messy and muscling each other. And that was the match. And they were the better team. I recorded, it's not Brentford, but I recorded with Brighton, a Brighton representative, and that match, he was buzzing talking about that win and about the squad and what they can do, and it was he does a pod for Brighton. He very much cares for that squad, and they are heading in a right direction. But he still doesn't think they're going to get above where they are this year. They just think they're going to get further in the trophy. They're hoping to win a FA Cup, a Carabao. That's what their aim is some trophy somehow, some way. If they win the Europa, that would be fantastic. So he like at the end, to not spoil it, but he was like, we could get 13th, but if we win the FA Cup or the Europa, I would be very happy with that season. So it was, I'm sure Brentford, they probably feel very similar, especially after losing Ivan Toney. All right, so match. Rico Lewis puts the ball in play. Going back to Ederson. Quick side note, I love that keeper shirt for next year. It's just so lovely. I just really don't think I'd love the keeper shirt. Usually it's just some bright, obnoxious color. And it's just like, they have personalities too. Ederson for sure has a personality. But yeah, just City, let it be known. We were in for a stressful match when recycling the ball back. Laporte passes the ball to Walker, just like falling over, giving Brentford a small chance that luckily they weren't able to take advantage of. But City were playing right into the way Brentford wanted to play. Pep said it. They wanted to win the first, the second balls, and we just needed to control the ball. And they weren't doing it. There was just no control. They were. It was like when one player wanted to push, the other player wanted it to go back. So it's just they weren't really on the same page, and that was unfortunate. Palmer, he had a great run early on, getting himself in a wonderful position to possibly put City ahead. But Raya, that dude, he was the star of the match for them. He was able to push the ball away. City's just wayward passes. What do you think, I guess, was the biggest catalyst for the inconsistencies? There were multiple. There was Brentford's physicality, was it squad rotation, the noise at the G-Tech Stadium, etc. Tom Palmer, what were you seeing in the match early on?
Responsibility confusion. So it looked like Sergio Gomez was supposed to cover a lot of ground, and he did do that because he did get up and down the wing, but I think that he was caught out a couple of times, and so when he was caught out, that meant that Calvin Phillips would drop back into as a center back, and then whoever was widest, whether that be Ake or Charles, would then kick out to that fullback spot and take on the ball on that side. But it was just kind of like a hair slow. And I think that like Ake kind of suffered because that's not when he plays with the squad that's going to start the cup finals. That's not necessarily how they play. He doesn't necessarily have he's not rotating over there as quickly because he's already over there. To me, because we weren't playing the same way that we normally do to cover the same like space, both offensively and defensively, I think that we were those players just looked confused, and they didn't have a clear plan necessarily, but it was very apparent that Brentford did.
You could tell it's just a team that hadn't played together versus a very cohesive Brentford squad. Even without Tony, they're used to that. Those two strikers do what they do very well. Wisa and Bomo, and the rest of the team was solid as always. And they just made it really difficult because looking at the stats, we had the passes, we had the possession, we had the most shots in the box. Like it was just you missed that little bit of like continuity that leads to goals. And so I felt that everything Tom said was accurate, but it's just really hard to go up against a side as good as Brentford without your top guns. It was hard for us when we had our top guns and we lost at home to them. And if you compare that to, going away to Brighton, we played a big team because you need the best to beat a very, very good squad. And without that, I knew it was always going to be a hard battle. I was optimistic, but, it was just missed a little bit.
For me, and again, it was a basketball weekend, so I didn't get to watch it live. But my thoughts, especially once I saw the lineup, was simply I think, Tom, you said it's a practice. It's a training session. So I was not too concerned necessarily about the outcome of the match. Win, lose, draw, didn't really matter. It was really about, okay, if these are the players we're going to run out there, one, because of how little game time some of these players have got, I just wanted them to play. I just want them to continue to show something that positions them. Using Calvin Phillips, right? I think he got the full 90, right? So he just needed time to play and just do a little something that gives you optimism coming back into preseason, right? Come back in with a better outlook than Charlie, to your point, than what a lot of folks have been really kind of riding him, probably unfairly. So for me,
you don't like to touch balls?
Sure. For me, it was just simply about just go out there and play, just have fun. I find myself telling my daughter that, right? Both of them to a certain extent. This is something that, we've all said, I would just do this for free. And if I get paid for it, that's even better. But when you're playing and you got all these expectations and the stress of, this title run, I'm sure it gets stressful. And so what if I, as dad, whatever, I would just tell Calvin Phillips, man, hey man, go have fun. Just go out there and have fun. Run around, kick the ball, have fun. Because that's what it needs to be. And when you lose that, then it shows on the pitch. And so I just wanted to have fun, go out there and have fun. So it is what it is.
You just speaking of fun, it reminded me, I want to give a shout out to my homie Nate and his daughter. Their soccer team, they made it to state. They won the first match in state. So they are playing on the next match. They're playing in Des Moines. So shout out to you, Delaney. I think they won like 3-0 and she scored 2 of the goals. And even more shout out to her. She started off on the bench, and when they would put her in, she would score. And then she had to earn her spot, and now she's basically just like undroppable. And so the match is streamed tomorrow at 1. So that's what I'll be paying attention to. I'll be watching some local Iowa young ladies football. So yeah. So
good for you. Said Delaney?
North Scott Lancers. Yeah, Delaney.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Do you know what age group?
High school. So okay. She's a senior too.
So this is her last year. So yeah.
Yeah.
That was my daughter's situation. Unfortunately, we lost. And so we didn't get to. I was hoping they would bring home a state cup before it was all said and done. Didn't happen for my daughter. Hopefully it happens for Delaney. Good luck.
Yeah. Shout out to her. I'll make sure to clip this and send it to him, because that man loves his daughter like that. Like, it's people like him that makes me want a daughter. It's people like you that make me want daughters. Or it's just like, you see that love, you see that connection, you see that, like, yeah, just like that dopeness. It's just like, yeah, I want to be a girl dad. I want to be a girl dad real bad. Anyway, football. We're here to talk about football. Brentford, their keeper, Rhea, the Spanish international. He was showing Ederson a thing or two. City lost the ball thanks to a badly pinged ball from Laporte to Gomez. There were a few. You can tell he hasn't been playing in a while. Like, that's what the training session meant. There were a lot of players knocking some kinks out. Like, they were figuring some things out during that. Brentford, they swept the ball left and caught City sleeping, and they bounced the ball off the beat when the ball was kind of like the nonsense, the first, the second, the third ball. And Wisa, he had a chance one-on-one with Ederson, and he got it past Ederson, but it bounced off of the post and the offsides flag. Shout out to just honestly those the offside flag. Let's just give it that credit to the offside flag. They bailed us out a lot in that match. I mean, obviously it didn't matter because of the score, but it could have been worse if they weren't offsides as many times as they were. Reyes long ball to Onyeka that Laporte clumsily cleared away, that we did not get a penalty for that. VAR had our back for once in this whole match, and I'm not sure if it's because VAR has our back, or is they were just like, the season's gone. There's no need to help Arsenal. Who cares? Like, maybe they just didn't care. Just, I don't know. There were the Rico Lewis handball. Like, I'm just bouncing all over the place. Like, that was insane. We know how the rest of the match goes. Sorry, go on.
I cackled in my house for like 2 minutes straight. Like, because he blatantly touched that, like, just raked it, and even raked it into his body with his arm. Like, so I'm glad that one went our way, because that has not necessarily been the case of video assistant referee and Manchester City Football Club. So I am glad that we did it that way.
That was like, truly, like, the Laporte moment. That both of them, I was just waiting for the ball to drop, and it just didn't. Everything just kept going, and I was like, oh. And even with the Rico Lewis handball, was it Wisa? Someone on Brentford ended up getting carded for that, and I was just like, oh, okay. I thought those were the signs that everything would go great for us, but a positive. Shea Charles, the 19-year-old academy player, makes his debut, replacing Nathan Ake. There were 5 yellow cards from Brentford. There's like a thin line between scrappy and cheap. Brentford, they play perfectly on that line. Brentford's goal was a surprise. Not. They were great value the whole match. The goal came from a set piece. Brentford's calling card. Where should we start? Where do you even want to talk? Do we even want to talk about the goal? Let's just even do this. What is there to talk about for the match overall, rest of the match? Is there anything to even like chat about?
Another strong performance from Phil Foden. He's looking like a midfielder when he's given the opportunity to be a midfielder, which is where we all thought he would end up, and hopefully he's trending that way. I loved Jermaine Cole-Palmer. He was very, very, like, direct. He tried to make stuff happen, didn't always come off, but he was there. And shouts to Calvin Phillips, who I shouted out at the start of this match. On OneFootball, he was rated the second best player. It was like a 3-way tie. But he had a really good match, a really strong match. There's this is where I'm going to say some smoke. There was one podcast I listened to, a City podcast, that was like, Calvin Phillips was good, or, he was okay or whatever. And it's like, damn, do you want him to fail? Like, did you want him to mess up? Like, the score was 1-0. I don't know what else you wanted from the man. I didn't see any crazy mistakes or anything. I saw a guy who, was playing the position and taking what the defense gave him. Wasn't trying to do anything stupid, which is what you want out of your 6. So the hate for that black man lives, even though he's super light. Like, it's just crazy. He would be the lightest of our shades of blue, and they still give him a lot of flack. Like, it's just wrong. It's just very wrong. Also, we are not a dark skinned group. Like, if you look at us, it's a very like left leaning. Like we all passed the paperback test, which I just think is hilarious. So if you want to add some more melanin in the shades of blue, let us know. We got space for you. We can take a little Hershey, a little Snickers bar outside of a Reese's cup. You know, we got y'all. We need y'all because we look like we got favorites and we don't, guys. I promise. This was not intentional. Just want to put that out there on the record.
And okay, so can we just like adjust that and say like a little bit more like 80% cacao, 85% cacao? Because if I'm gonna say anything, those, I mean, like Hershey's, it's cheese. Like I don't know how the last time you had Hershey's chocolate. It's just not. It's not good chocolate. So I would love, some melanin, but just like not cheesy melanin. So
Charlie said we are not affiliated with Jack and Jill. We are not part of the 10 percenters. That is not. There's not going to be a lot of people that get that reference that listen to this, but the ones that do,
they know. If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
I was gonna say that might be a little too inside of a joke.
Google is still free. So for those that don't know, take the time right now, go to your browser, Google Jack and Jill, look at pictures. Just look at Jack and Jill, click images, and you'll see what it is. You'll be in on it.
Oh, are you not entertained? Man. So, final whistle blows. City missed out on a chance to end the season on a, air quotes, high note. What went wrong? How did we get here? Pep, he'll tell you.
I have experience, we won last season twice to Brentford, won 1-0, 0-1, I think so. So, and today we lost to 1 and 1-0. They are so difficult to break them, so they are incredible top side in both sides, and high pressing and defending deep, and the solidarity they have, the transitions, the fast. So Raya's like a holding midfielder, put the ball wherever he wants, and the second balls, they work really well in this type of department. So
Have Garrett say that, any of that, ever. Anything like a fourth of that during a post-match. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm asking. Oh,
Hey,
sorry.
Charlie already told you once, man.
We're talking about Pep. We're talking about Pep. I'm just saying, though. Like, he doesn't do a 16th of what Pep does. It's not. I'm not saying I don't need a showman. I just need to actually know what you're thinking. And I literally never know what he's thinking. And that's not good.
Y'all, Crunk bringing up old shit because he runs the show. That's not fair.
Mad.
Like, you play a clip from Pep, and we can't even react to the clip before you go back to gas?
I can do whatever. Bro. You can go back to old
That's
stuff.
an abuse of power. That's an abuse of
pin.
power. Wow.
You have a mic too, sir. You have a mic too. What are you talking about?
Hey,
I just
Charlie.
have a soundboard.
Charlie, that's why I went and got my own soundboard. I can hook my stuff up and hit my own buttons. Push my own buttons. Say my own stuff. Bring my own clips. God dang it.
Saying.
Bring my own clips.
Tarek, I'm texting you on the side. We're going to figure this out for next season. By August, I'm going to get mine together because clearly we need some checks and balances in this shit. This is ridiculous.
Interpod beat.
Separation of power, goddammit.
Take the pot to the next level. Let's go.
Y'all are really getting to see how the sausage is made this episode. Let me tell you what.
It's all love. It's all love. It's hilarious. We need the content. These are the clips. They're going to push us to 3,000. Right? That's the goal. Roll to 3,000. Okay, that's what we're doing.
Like, guys, technically, the best pods are when people are just like, are they mad at each other? Like, that's great. That's what you want. You want people talking about like side stuff. Like, love it. No. I want spicy. I want us yelling at each other. I don't want no mutes. What are we muting? Let's just yell at each other for a little bit. It's fun. Love it. Man, sure. Brentford, they're built to beat smaller teams like the team we put out for them. Scrap, determination. Brentford, They tweeted about being the only team who held the double over us. Manchester City are a trophy in themselves to Premier League clubs. Nobody held a double over us since United during the 1920 season. They also knocked us out of the Carabao Cup. Not that I care, even though at the beginning of the season I was like, we need to treat the Carabao Cup with more respect. So I actually was very upset about that. I very much remember. Chelsea, they got us good in the 2021 season, beating us in the Premier League, the FA Cup, and the Champions League final, a treble of their own. And City fans were maddened, vexed, sulky, whiny, resentful. I could keep going. Sure, the City support community might have been down on the match, but I already played. The Pep said it. And that shouldn't matter. We had it all lined up. There are things we needed to see from players. People needed to get chances. I saw, honestly, a lot of positive in that match, and that's what in that match. That's what I was looking for. It was, how was Cole Palmer playing? How was Phil playing? How did Ake look? How was Calvin play? Like, yes, we know Calvin isn't up to scrap. How is he doing now? When he gets the ball, is his head flying a million places because he doesn't know where to go? Is he just one touch pass? Is he doing, what is he doing? And I saw a lot of fantastic in that match, a lot of good that came to me. And I think if once upon a time, we did have an A squad and a B squad. That was like back then in the Sane days when we had a bigger squad, at least for the most part. And if our two squads give a different look, like Pep will play Mahrez, if we can attack a little bit more, we can play a little more freely, and then if we need to tighten things up, we put Bernardo up there. If we can do like yin and yang, and if this yang is Alvarez up top and it's Cole Palmer and the game is a little more fun and free, it could be like Brighton, and it's fine. It's fine. I mean, that's a draw, but or it could be Brentford and we lose. But I felt so alive during that Brentford match. Like watching it, it was exciting. I was like tucked in. Like, I don't know. I liked the energy. It was nice.
It was exactly what I expected to see. Like, even I know I was super optimistic. I'm always optimistic before the game. So like, if I say something on the pre-match show, like I don't really like mean that necessarily. But I was I predicted a win, but like it in my brain, I knew that we might lose to this team because Brentford's pretty good, and we played them at home, and they played how they wanted to play for the most part of the game. We did have some bright spots. There were some players that looked good, that needed to look good, and that's about all I needed. And that's what I got, and that was the result.
I think for me, like I said, when I saw it didn't really matter the lineup. The league was over with. I think Pep put me get my rest along with KDB and the others. He was like, don't really worry about this match too much. It just is what it is. Get your rest, get ready for United, get ready for Champions League final. So I was mentally where KDB was. I was just chilling and just let the match play out. We'll see y'all when we get to United.
Oh, Premier League applause. So, season's over. Look like this. City, we're number 1, baby. Love it that way. Arsenal, number 2. Sucks for you. United, they're 3rd. Good on them for actually getting up there. So it looked real bleak at moments. Newcastle, 4th. Liverpool, 5th. Same feelings about United, about Tottenham 8th. And, you know, the time of the season is here.
We gotta talk.
Summer comes,
Dang, I know.
and you just gotta
It's just
get rid of that rotation
things I
that
gotta
couldn't
go
keep
with,
up, you know? It's like, it's not me, it's you. Leicester City, Leeds United, and Southampton, you're all headed to championship. Sorry. Goodbye. But shout out to Vincent Kompany and Burnley, Sheffield United. You're back in the Premier League along with Luton Town. I hate you guys. I know everyone's saying, sure, it's exciting. Their stadium is tiny. Welcome back to the Premier League. Took your ass hats long enough. Can't wait for us to be one of the reasons why you're relegated next season. Better hope the media shows y'all the type of love Leeds did. Now, I'm sure you're probably wondering, why am I going in on this sweet little Luton town, their quaint little town with their diminutive stadium? 1983! That's why. History! They're the ones who secured City's spot in relegation at home. David Platt jigging on our pitch after the win. City had relegated them back in 1975, so the beef really is historic. Hating on Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, it's getting old, really. It's nice to have some fresh meat to pick on. Welcome to the Premier League losers. Tarek, where do you want to
I think you're a
focus
bully.
on?
I think you're a bully. There is no reason whatsoever to be concerned about Luton Town.
Who said I'm concerned?
This man brought up Ronald Reagan era. Who brought up 83, bro?
Dude, hold on.
And then he brought up 75.
Hold on. How many was you even born in 83?
No.
That's what I'm saying. Talking about what happened in 1983. Dude, who cares?
History does.
Yeah, I think
This is how you know Crunk is a wrestling
Yeah.
fan. Like, he will hold on to any little smidge of a storyline. It's incredible.
This
This
is what we're
dude
supposed to be
went-
doing as a City fan.
he brought up Luton Town and went
They're
ham on Luton
bad.
Town.
They relegated us. It happened.
I wasn't a fan then. I don't know what I wasn't
I was gonna
alive.
say you weren't
My
even
mama wasn't
born
pregnant.
then,
I
let
don't know what
alone
was
a
going on in
fan.
83.
Who cares?
I can have feelings.
Anything before 1990 does not
I have
matter
feelings.
in my life.
I have feelings.
And for the record, I was born in 1983. What was I, like 7 years old?
That was the year of my birth, literally. So, like, literally, I was 3 months old when this match happened.
So you could have hated them. It's possible.
I'm sure the only thing that I hated was a dirty diaper and not being fed quick enough.
But you don't know, do you?
So I have no beef with Luton Town. I think that the story is all great and wonderful. I appreciate promotion and relegation. I wish we had it in not just American soccer or the MLS or whatever. I wish we had it in every sport that we have, because I hate teams that are able to tank. So I wish we had that, and it just so happens that this is a team that have been able to navigate their way back up, all the way out of the league, I think, and all the way back up. So kudos to them. I had no problem with Luton Town. As a matter of fact, only thing that I care about is Burnley because of my guy Vinny Company. Anything else don't really matter. It's whatever. It's just 3 more teams. 3 teams go down, 3 teams go up. It's just same results, different faces. It don't really matter.
and I don't care.
No, don't try to play it back now. You done spent 5 minutes talking about how you hate Luton Town and how we want to go and how they're this, that, and the other. No, don't can't run it back now.
I'm not. Oh, trust me, I'm not.
You said it with your chest. Keep it. Keep it.
I'm going. Trust me, I'm going to keep that energy. But I'm just trying to explain how I got here. I saw a tweet and someone was making fun of their stadium, and I was like, why are you making fun of the stadium? And they were like, look up the beef, and I looked it up, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun then. I'm gonna have some fun. This is gonna be fun. So yeah, I'm gonna have fun this season. This is gonna be great. Yeah, I warn people.
See, I don't pick on people that are
exactly.
Smaller than me.
It's not picking. It's history.
They're so
it's
little.
history, bro. I don't care. I don't know nothing about who they are.
You sound like United fans. History.
I don't care. They could be fantastic individuals. I'm sure they're nice people. I don't care about that. I'm talking about football. Y'all talking about people. Are we talking about football?
No,
or are we talking about humanitarianism? What are we doing?
They're going back down. No. We don't have to be the ones. Look, they're going to have a hard enough time getting beat by Crystal Palace and all them other teams. Who are they going to be worried about with us? I don't care.
Exactly. If everybody else is going to be all sweet little Luton Town, good then. I can boo you. If everybody else is going to pick you up, I can kick you down. That's how it works.
So back to my Premier League shocks, awesomes, and applause. Because it's just time to move on. You can't take my teaching skills. You just got to move on. Because you put him on the stage, he's going to perform. Right. So we move. Extremely impressed with Southampton, who had nothing to play for, already relegated, and they had a 4-4 shootout with Liverpool. Thought that was really dope. Also want to say shout out to Decore from Everton for, that black man who was not played by Frank Lampard at all, to be, brought back to the pitch by Sean Dyche and repaying that tenfold with the strike that kept Everton up in the Premier League. And in my, brief years of being a Premier League fan, I do like just hearing on Merseyside, Everton versus Liverpool. It's just fun. They never beat them, but it's just fun to talk about. So you kind of need these rivalries, right? Like just for the shirt should be there. Like I like seeing the shirt. I like seeing Tim Howard get all up in a tizzy when Everton sucks. It's fun. See, I beat up on Everton. They're like a real Premier League club, Crunk. I don't beat up on the little people. That's not fair. That's like kicking a little Koompa from Super Mario. If you ain't gonna go at Bowser, don't go at nobody. So I'm
trying to have fun, and it's not fun when all of you guys serious it out. Yes, we're trying to be serious, but this is also a podcast.
Arsenal's right there. We could still have fun. They still bottle the league.
Like, I can talk crap about everybody. I can hate on everybody. I can find unique individual ways to make fun of each club because that is what I do.
Wolves, go. What's your beef with Wolves? Go.
Actually, they're delightful other than the fact that they just can't score a goal. So,
Wolves are delightful?
Yes.
Whatever, man.
The people of Wolves. The people of Wolves, not the team. So, you guys are the ones who wanted to talk about fans and stuff like that.
Wolves is delightful.
History. Okay, the point.
Go ahead, Tom.
Point out when Wolverhampton relegated us. Point me out then, and then I will hate on them. But until then,
there was no us because I was not a fan.
There was no us because he wasn't even born.
Exactly. I'm just saying though.
He wasn't either. Crunk wasn't either. That's the craziest thing.
Are we gang or not? Are we gang or not? That's what I'm just saying. Are we gang
not
or
not?
Gang.
Not gang. Not ancient history gang. I am not. In no way, shape, or form do I care about the Ronald Reagan era. Like, nope.
This is England. Why do you keep bringing up Ronald Reagan?
Because he's the leader of the free world during that time. Duh. Okay. Like, I don't care who the prime minister was in England.
If you Margaret Thatcher, we don't need to discuss her tenure either.
Great seasons of the Crown, by the way. Check that out. Incredible seasons. What a performance.
So,
I properly derailed this episode.
You did. Applause goes to Aston Villa. Congratulations for making it to Europe.
Yes.
Good job.
Yes.
I did not think that Unai Emery was going to be the thing that unlocked them after they fired Steven Gerrard, but he was, and good on them. And good on him. It seems like the types of tournaments that like the Europa League, Europa Conference League, those seem perfectly suited for a manager like Unai Emery. And I know that sounds like a very backhanded compliment, but I do think that he is a manager that does succeed in those competitions. And he probably will succeed for Aston Villa in this Europa Conference League tournament. My shock really was that Everton stayed up, that they actually won. I know that as long as the fact that they just needed to win, but if they drew, or if Leicester pulled out a result and they could get them on goal difference, that was just astounding to me, that they were able to pull that out.
You know who also just needed a win? Man City versus Luton Town in 1983.
No, Tom, you can't pause. You have to keep talking.
And then
keep going.
My awe is for Leeds, and not necessarily for Leeds specifically, but for Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie, and Aronson. I don't know why y'all went to play for Jesse Marsh. That just seems like a terrible idea. And Leeds, I don't know why y'all hired Jesse Marsh, and this is why y'all about to go back down. Nothing good can happen to your club if you hire Jesse Marsh as your manager. And I don't he can't even be a manager at a Starbucks. This is just not good news. And you are now reaping the benefits of hiring Jesse Marsh, and I hope that this sabbatical in the championship will, cleanse you of that Jesse Marsh stink and filth, and then you can come back up next season.
It's all good. Keep moving. Let's just keep moving. We're not going to go to 2 hours.
No worries.
Don't have it. So let's just keep moving.
The backup caught it all.
So I didn't really want to talk about any of these other teams because I don't really care about any of them. The thing that stood out to me that I heard today, I think, was 31-year-old Spartak Moscow forward, ex-Dutch star Quincy Promes, facing trial for importing 1,300 kilos of cocaine into the Netherlands and Belgium. And then when I looked at it some more, I found out that my guy had been previously charged in 2021 with attempted manslaughter and assault for stabbing. Now get this, stabbing his cousin at a family party. My guy is wilding. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, ain't nothing else to talk about. That's it. This dude is wilding. He's out there. And he's a star.
Did you say 13,000 kilos?
13,070 kilograms of cocaine on two different shipments. I don't know if one went to the Netherlands, one went to Belgium, whatever. But yeah. He was, they said street value of 75 million, something like that. I was like, my God. Oh, there's one more thing I need to bring up too. And I am a very happily married man. But my guy, Romelu Lukaku, hanging out with Megan Thee Stallion, kudos to that dude.
They doing way more than hanging out.
I'm just saying.
I've been a single person that's taken a date to a wedding. And there's a certain level of behavior that might be expected of single people on dates at weddings, after said date at wedding. And something just tells me that all of that is happening. All of that is happening.
It's a little story called The Birds and the Bees. And, she took a party and upgraded to a ROM. And if you know about net worth of footballers compared to Partisan Fontaine, Megan upgraded. You could play that Lil Wayne clip again because she knew what it is. She likes her man chocolate. We know that. She likes that cacao, that 85%, maybe 100% actually. But shouts to Rom. I hope his game stops there. I need you to falter in the last week of Serie A. I need you to falter in the UCL. You got Meg. Exactly. You won. You already won.
Exactly. This is what makes it worse. Like in the last month, he's been in way better form for Inter than so like one would hope that, but I would think that might, I know correlation does not cause causation. However,
so what you're saying is instead of Meg, we really needed him to hook up with one of the Kardashians, pull a Sokka and have, get on the phone with the Kardashians and all this other stuff. Or, any number of the basketball players in this world that, or maybe a Drake curse. We need Drake. One of them.
Nah, we still got predictions. Let's not even get too much into it. We have a FanFestLive kickoff show where you can come and join us and listen to what we think about that match. Yeah, no real reason to even predict because we're just going to predict again. That is all for today's episode of Shades of...
Hold on.
Sorry.
So during the end of season award ceremony, I think it was Monday night, Marcus Rashford says, ensuring Man United remain the only English club to do the treble, that's the most important thing. So that goes to show you where their head is. They just want to stop us. Nothing else matters to them. Just trying to stop us.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cute, but you ain't got a striker. You don't have a right winger. You don't have your best left center back. Luke Shaw's coming back off injury. Y'all gonna need a lot more than just words. Let's put it like that. Good luck going against the team that just beat Real Madrid 4-0. That's all I'm saying. Like, good luck. You got it.
Okay, let's go.
Again, not Luton Town.
A worthy adversary, not some children.
See,
or
okay, so what's worse? I'm at least respecting them in the Premier League. I'm treating them as just a rival, and you're... Bro,
they ain't even got the money, Crunk.
You're
got the money to fix the stadium yet. They don't count.
You're looking down on them.
They're not
that
yet.
Is beside the point,
they got to get a real stadium first,
and
then I can talk to them.
See, y'all are trying to I get what I'm saying, and I get that I'm being extra, but at least I'm trying to give them respect. But, I get the bro.
Sorry. Yes, and let's the Premier League was not around in 1983. It was the Premiership. So,
history.
Yes, history that is not of quote unquote this league, of this incarnation of the league that we currently all watch.
No, we just have a new weekly segment of whoever we're playing, Crunk can give some historical pre-Premier League fact about how this club interacted with Man City before 1992. So I'm here for it. You got it. Pull up something about United and a win streak from the 70s or 60s. I don't know. Take us back to pre-civil rights. You got it, Crunk.
You know what I found interesting earlier? Because I always sit on my computer while we're recording. And when we were looking at we were talking on the women's side, I'm pretty sure Arsenal on the women's side averaged, maybe not, I think they averaged more fans than would fit in Luton Town Stadium. They averaged 14,000. Luton Town only holds 10.
Town. That's bullying.
That's not picking. That's stating the facts.
You took time to look.
No, I didn't go backwards. I'm just saying.
How am I the bad guy
You're bringing them up as if You're bringing them up as if they are a legit rival or a legit.
I didn't do that
whatever.
at
Now
all.
again, when we
I
go
was
out there,
laughing at
you know what
them,
will be
and if you
respectful?
would have just laughed
It will
with
be
me,
respectful
we
when we
could
go
have
out
moved
there and we
on.
beat them 4-0. That will be respectful because we will play a full strength team. We'll beat them 4-0. We'll say, congratulations, good job,
You'll
and
say
we'll see you next time,
congratulations.
whatever. And we'll keep on moving. That's being respectful. We'll just beat them on the pitch. But until then, bring them up.
We can't all say the same thing. That's not as fun. Goodness gracious, this is great, especially now that I know it's going to get this out of you guys. Oh my goodness, this is fantastic.
We just don't like picking on
It wasn't you.
disadvantaged
just,
people
You picked on them
or teams.
I was respecting them. I was banter. That was banter. Until you guys were saying I was picking on them, and then I was picking on them. If you laugh with me, people laugh with me. That is all for today's episode of Shades of Blue Podcast. Don't forget to tap in Sunday for our FanFest Live Kickoff show, 30 minutes prior to the kickoff, the beginning of the match. Tarek, you'll be there? Basketball?
Is the match Sunday or Saturday?
Wait,
no, it's Saturday.
No, it's Saturday, right?
Okay. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Saturday.
So Saturday is graduation, but I believe depending upon the timing, I should be able to be there.
That's exciting. Oh, okay. Well, possibly Tarek, Tom, Sharpie, and I will be discussing all things Manchester Derby FA Cup edition. Join us on FanFest Live. Comments, suggest topics, not that we're really ever short on topics, or you could hop in and be a special guest instead of listening to the people who are talking about that match, because it will be on ESPN Plus, so ESPN FC will be handling that. I think we're better. And then side note, I will be throwing before that a music and conversation show on the app AMP, where you basically just host like a radio style type show. So I'm just going to be playing fun music that will get you up and dancing, or filling fills, conversations, talking thoughts and feelings of the match, life, maybe in a very unserious way, because it's still pretty early in the morning. So just want to have some fun, change things up. I don't know, maybe I'll do more of these in the summer since we won't have football. It's just like, what is existence, really? We could laugh and dance and take a short break before hopping onto the FanFest Live Kickoff show. And I think I'm going to do another one for the Champions League final. We'll see. But I'm not going to go. I was planning on checking out Chicago MCFC, but my photographer had double booked, and guess who lost out? So I am going to stay here, and honestly, it's probably for the best, because how would I do the FanFest Live show surrounded by a bunch of people at a bar? So we're out here. Download the AMP app. I think I'm going to put the link in the show description, send those emails into Shades of Blue Podcast, where they can be used for a future mailbag episode. Make sure to follow us all on the social media accounts: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, are all Shades of Blue US. Check out our merch store. All the links to those things are in the show notes. Rate the podcast on the app that you're using if you can. 5 stars, or what's the point? Give us a review while you're at it if you can. My fantastic co-hosts, let the listeners know where to find you. Tarek, we'll start with you.
At Tarek Peterson on Twitter. You can find me there.
You can find me on Mark Zuckerberg's health site, Instagram, TomBomb816, on Elon Musk's health site, Twitter, at TomBomb816.
Find me on the Bird app at Sharpie Charlie. NBA Finals is coming up. WNBA season's popping. NWSL. Summer sports are here.
And I am Crunk Chocolate, CRUNK, CHOCOLATE. Instagram, Twitter. Yeah, those things. You know the vibes. Shady Gang, Shady. Technically